What Chris Hayes points out an inconvenient truth that take a whole lot of folks who think that Trump is doing fairly well should give them a second thought. Check this out.
Fundamental conceit was that we are falling behind, that we are the laughingstock of the world, and so I, Donald Trump, will restore us to preeminence, to our rightful place in the world. Make America great again. The core of that entire premise was a con. The Trump campaign has now admitted as much when they coined the re-election slogan, Make America Great Again, Again. Might be the single biggest admission of failure in the history of American presidential politics. At first, the idea America was in utter shambles in 2016 was a ridiculous premise. But now we are precisely what Donald Trump said we were before he was elected. It was the ultimate act of projection, indeed of prediction. He said we were the laughingstock of the world, and then he made us into the laughingstock of the world. The coronavirus hit the whole world. You know, back in the early days of the pandemic, in March and April, sitting here talking to you at this camera, we all struggled together. There was this incredible sense of international solidarity. I mean, we watched China shut down, right, when the outbreak started. We read the stories of the crazy quarantines, and we saw the images of the empty streets in Italy, and then in France, and in Spain, and then it came here, first to the West Coast, and then to New York City. At one point, we had nearly 4 billion people under lockdown across the world. The empty plazas and the stores and schools, we were all in it together. 6 months later, that is no longer the case. Almost everyone else has moved on. This is Wuhan, China, where it all started, at a water park. These are the Spanish Steps in Italy. This is Bondi Beach in Australia, and a rugby match in New Zealand. People are going to concerts and sporting events. They're going to weddings and funerals. Most of these countries have basically beaten the virus, but not here. In the United States, our leadership failed. Donald Trump failed. The rest of the world was able to follow the advice of public health experts and suppress the virus. They are still fighting outbreaks, it's true, but the scale of those outbreaks pale in comparison to what we see on a daily basis in this country. If you pay the price of vigilance and self-control, you reap the reward of freedom. We went through all the trouble and all the costs and all the disruption of closing down the country, the misery, the trauma, the dislocation, the economic pain. And once you go through all that, you have to push through those last few weeks of shutdown that seem excessive to really smother the virus, because you only want to have to do that once. And the places that did all that, they get to enjoy the benefits now. They're all moving on with their lives, and we are not. One of the biggest ways this hits home is that they are sending their kids to school, and we are not. Chinese state media released these images of kids returning to school in Wuhan, basically taunting the U.S. for our failures to do the same. Look at you, Americans. This thing started here, and we dealt with it. Now look where we are, and look where you are. Instead of any kind of plan, coordinated public health response, Donald Trump just stamped his feet. He demanded that schools open. And his new coronavirus advisor, Scott Atlas, talked about getting calls from around the world wondering why American kids aren't going to school.
Look at what's happened in the other countries. The UK, Canada, Sweden, Switzerland, Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, France, Italy, Spain, they are all opening schools. We here in the United States, I have people all over the world calling me and emailing me, what is going on here?
That's exactly right. Yeah, they're opening schools. They didn't have an enormous second wave like we did that freaked everybody out. They don't have 200,000 nearly deaths. They don't have 40,000 cases a day in perpetuity as their low-level plateau. The big reason people feel it's not safe for kids to go to school or to go work in those schools for the teachers is that the guy you work for, Scott Atlas, messed everything up so much.
Exactly right. And that is the point. We are going through the same things over and over, and we have these Republican governors as well doing the same thing over and over again, trying to open up before they should, doing all these things before they should, instead of getting the virus under control and then moving on with testing and making sure they can knock it out wherever it raises its head. That is why we are supposed to be the advanced country. But more than anything else right now, we're the laughing stock of the world. I'm Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, an independent news program. I post several news videos of interest every day. I ask you so kindly to subscribe to my channel, and please leave me some comments. Thank you very much.